Okay, let's try this again.
Ready,
I
set.
gotta remember to fade.
That tasted like tacos.
Tasted like mistakes. Damn.
Hello and welcome to another Woodshop podcast with Mike Coffey of Coffee Custom Builds, Daniel Dunlap of Daniel Dunlap Woodworks, and Peter Kapar of Petrie's Workshop. You can find us all as well as the podcast on Instagram and YouTube.
Welcome to episode 87 of another Woodshop podcast, where we are nursing one heck of a DiResta hangover. After you ride that high, everything is just, life's got the volume turned down on it, right?
Everything's downhill from
DiResta.
Yeah. Although I will tell you guys, I have a perfect cure-all. 2 raw egg yolks, salt, pepper, hot sauce, 3 episodes of Shop Sounds, and a little bit of bay leaf. Yeah. It'll cure any hangover.
Well, speaking of Shop Sounds, if you'd like to be a Patreon of another Woodshop podcast, go to patreon.com/another Woodshop podcast. We really appreciate it. We appreciate all the patrons. You guys are the best. We love you a long time. Guys, I think it's very important that we don't forget where we've come from, and that's our roots. Last week, we didn't do our review segment, and I think we were worse off for it. So let's get into our reviews right now.
Go, Black Betty, Ram Lamb.
So good.
Never gets old.
Also, Dan doesn't know it. Well, Dan's going to do a little announcement later, but I've got a new sound clip for something for another segment. It's a returning segment, and it's going to be so good.
I am so very excited for that.
Anyway, let's get into the reviews. There is 2, I think. I don't think we read this one, but this is a 5-star, of course. That's the only rating allowed. This is from JHV Woodworking. When I started to listen to this podcast, my nips started to hurt. Is that normal? I don't know why, but I thought that it was. I wish I had that available on the screen right now. But I thought that if I continued to listen to it, it would go away. Nope, they hurt even more. Ow, my nips. The rating of the podcast is still broken. I submitted a 132nd star review and it automatically changed to 5 stars. Great podcast. Continue the great work. Oh, thanks, JHV. That was really sweet. I hope your nips get better. This next one. One's from Sean Lincoln. Yeah, 5 stars. It's actually rated 5 out of 5 ethnic sandwiches. This guy goes deep. Sean
So
from Westbound Woodcraft AWP is my new drug of choice. As soon as a new episode hits the streets, I'm tripping truck nuts. Sorry. I take a ride on a magic DDWW bow tie through the sky of Mike Coffey beard shaped clouds and land on an outhouse in New Jersey where I poop with Pete. This guy gets it. If you want to taste sounds and smell colors, go to your local neighborhood podcast dealer and get you some pure uncut AWP.
It's pure uncut Colombian AWP.
Get it right.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Oh, that's
okay,
great.
well,
These guys get it.
They get it. They get us. If you want to leave a lovely
Insightful
review that makes no sense, insightful review, you can go to you can only really do it on iTunes. We know other places do have reviews, but we don't actually
and
know
we
how to
value
find
those as well, but won't read them.
Right, due to contractual obligations with
Apple. Obligations. Yep.
No, big thanks to you guys for getting those reviews in. We're glad to be back with reviews. They are an essential part of our show, and we can't do them without you. So big thanks to you guys. And of course, we kind of had a truncated one last week with Jimmy on here, but we didn't really get to go into what's on our bench. And I can't remember mine. So I'm going to have one of these guys go first. But before any of that happens, we have to hear the beautiful song, the dulcet tones of Daniel Dunlap singing this. Amazing.
What's on my bench?
They said it couldn't be topped, but somehow you wrote an even better song than last time. It's incredible. We're all proud of you.
I don't know what to say.
My audio just cut out.
It was a little delayed for a sec, but that's okay.
My stupid Siri keeps picking up on me and I'm gonna punch it in the mouth.
It doesn't have a mouth.
It's doing that
Joke's
on my laptop.
on you.
Would that be abuse of some sort?
I don't think so. Not yet. Give it 20 years and it will be for sure. And
I say more like 5 years.
You think 5 years punching a computer is abuse? Okay. I think you might be right.
I used to have to hit it to make it work better. No?
Remember when you had to blow in it?
Remember when you had to put a blanket over it? Dan, how was your week? Tell us about it. Appreciate you.
I got that Z desk done and delivered, and it looks phenomenal. You know,
it does.
At least phenomenal. That's what I think. I'm pretty biased.
It does look phenomenal.
Phenomenal. It looks phenomenal. I think it looks great.
Like the backpack blower incident.
If you weren't in the pre-show, you don't understand. I got that done. I got a lot of bow ties. I'm now offering zebra wood bow ties. Heyo, hit me up. That's kind of it. Although I did so the desk client, it's the same client that orders everything for me. It's the only client that I have apparently. And we were talking about the next project for them, and they want to do a live edge table and some other things. So I went and visited my friends over at the Rustic Lumber Store here in Nebraska, and I picked up two monkey pod slabs. Monkey pod, that's a thing. They look gorgeous.
What is monkey pod?
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
It's
a Hawaiian
wood from Hawaii. I believe
it's gorgeous.
How's that spelled? Hawaii?
It is.
Hawaii?
Yeah, there's a random comma or something in there. I don't know.
An upper comma.
Each eye has two dots above it, like a German O.
Yeah. There's another little O above the O. It's weird.
That's just an 8.
That's pretty much it. It's been
numbers.
Dan, fluff.
It's been all the things. There's nothing to fluff.
You need to.
I don't know what to fluff.
You did.
I don't know how to fluff. I don't know how to fluff my life. Pete, you go.
Sure, why not? So this week I've been working on some commissions, and I got a bunch of holiday orders for cutting boards, which I wasn't really announcing that I'm doing, but somehow people got word of it, and they're hitting me up. So next week is cutting board week, which is super exciting. And I actually went into my lumber shed this morning, and I realized I'm pretty well stocked for holidays for like the next couple months. I have a very good amount of walnut. I've picked some stuff up over COVID happening and stuff for some good deals while people are cleaning out their shops. So I'm pretty well stocked. That's good. So I don't have to, go buy lumber and really get nipped in the butt with the prices right now, because around here it's pretty bad. So that's exciting. I'm currently wrapping up the tabletop. So Dan is building a base for a desk. I'm building just the top, and then we're going to meet in the middle. We're going to meet somewhere in Pennsylvania or Chicago. And
that would not be
Chi-town.
Now they didn't want to do walnut. They wanted,
past.
And I'm literally quoting the customer here, but they wanted dark brown wood, but they wanted ash. Because they wanted hardwood. And I was like, well, here's what it is for ash and stain, and here's what it is for walnut. And they're like, yeah, we'll take the stained ash. I was like, oh, I don't want to stain. So you guys recommended Rubio chocolate. It's my first time using ash. Rubio. It is outstanding. I love it. First of all, it doesn't smell awful. It goes on really nice. Great. It absorbs super evenly. And I'm going to be using it probably a lot in the future. And I do have one thing coming. The maintenance oil. I had a couple of people recommend it to me, and I also saw Mark Spagnola's video. He uses it as an extra coat. Now it's a maintenance oil. It's really for high traffic areas, because obviously this is a floor finish, again, hard wax oil. So I'm excited to try it on something around the house and then see how I'm going to be applying it in the future. I don't think this tabletop needs it. It's pretty durable. It looks like, I was kind of like, oh, is this going to be enough the first day or so? And then 48 hours later, I was feeling that one side that I finished, and it felt done. It was great. So I'm pretty excited about it. Aside from that, I'm going back and forth with another client that wants a bunch of CNC work done. So we're meeting up next week to try to figure out kind of the logistics of it. I had to call about a dozen lumber yards to find 1-inch Baltic birch plywood, because that's what they require. Well, they require 24, Dan earmuffs, 24 millimeter instead of 25.1, which is 1 inch.
Not real.
It's whatever. It's 1 inch, blurry. Oh, geez. Yeah, it's 1 inch plywood, Baltic birch. It's $214 a sheet for a 4x8 sheet. It's insanely expensive, but if this job happens, it's going to be several of those sheets getting used up. So that's going to be pretty great. But I'm going to have to invest in some
1 inch is 25.4 millimeter.
0.4. Thank you, Dan, for double checking the math.
Oh, I didn't double check it. I was just hit me.
It did. You just happen to know what metric?
I do, actually.
Oh.
I had to convert it all the time in my old job.
Oh, so you're not a hater, you're just bitter from your old job.
That's it.
That's what it
Nailed
is.
it. So, stupid old job.
Stupid old job with the stupid machines and MDF. So I'm pretty stoked for that. Hopefully that job happens, because that could make or break the holiday season, or not break, but it could double make the holiday season. And speaking of the holiday season, it is picking up. Etsy's starting to blow up. I officially started offering international shipping on all of my stuff, and already got a couple sales. So I actually talked to Dan, and Dan was like,
Petrie's
just
worldwide.
Dan just offers $25 plus then $5 per additional item for international shipping. And that covers most of his stuff. And the bow ties are about the same weight as what I'm shipping. So that kind of worked out for me.
I'm only doing that for smaller items, not the bigger.
Yeah.
You don't use the calculator?
What's up?
You don't use the international shipping calculations on Etsy?
Well,
because it's a flat rate.
Etsy,
I charge
gets
a flat
rate. Yeah, Etsy gets a little complicated because here's the thing: you have to enter the weight and size and everything for each item, which for me it differs because I offer so many variety packs, so each one differs and it'd be a lot of work to get set up. Plus, I offer a certain flat rate to Canada, so free US, flat rate to Canada, and then now I'm doing flat rate to international. Whatever, I'm offering it. I don't need to sell a bunch to international, but traffic's already picking up for the holidays. It feels really good because I could use the extra income coming in for some future purchases. And the last thing I'm kind of running into as an issue is I need to weatherproof or temperature proof insulate my shop. The attic that's above it, the loft, whatever, that has no insulation. So I need to put in new insulation in the ceiling. The walls have no insulation, and the garage doors are. If I'm outside, like I was outside my garage tonight and I saw light peeking through the garage doors, that's unacceptable. The problem I'm really worried about is if it was cold, that's one thing, but I have a water cooled spindle, which I'm going to be converting to coolant. And then I have a water chilled laser. And if that laser tube gets too cold and it freezes, it's going to just crack that thing. And my laser is going to be shot.
The laser's sitting right by the door too, right?
Right by the door. So I was talking with Emma, we might actually just, again, or call it Spagnolo in this, just insulate that entire door, just leave it closed for the winter. Just close that one section up just to keep it a little warmer. But I don't know. I don't think it's going to get that bad. Last night I got into the 30s. Shop stayed at 45, 47, something like that.
Have you thought about just throwing a blanket on it?
I have, but I'm a little worried because that's with that laser tube. That's a little delicate. I've seen some crazy posts on the Facebook groups with other laser people that do not insulate their shops, and I would hate for that to happen. So, but that's my week. It's just a lot of maintenance stuff and finishing up this table and getting it out. I'm kind of in the same mindset as Mike. I need it out of my shop so I can work on other stuff. But Mike, what's on your bench?
Week's kind of weird. Getting electrical ran. I just don't have any of my tools still, so. Electrician came. Well, I'll start with my week. So my son turned 5, which is awesome. He's a big boy, and we had a party for him last week. And the party ended up being my wife and I. Both yeah, we just it was like a Tony Montana over there. Say hello to my little friend. No, my wife had invited people. Yeah. Hannah Montana, his niece. No, we
the best of both worlds.
My wife and I had both kind of separately invited people, and before we realized it, there was 30 people at my son's birthday party. for on Saturday last weekend, and that was the most people we've seen in a long time, since COVID. I mean, we had 30 people over here, and we were like, oh, good thing we got 40 burgers, for like, we were like, oh, this is a lot of food. So I was cooking, and it was just a great time.
And your
we had
Blackstone?
2 fire pits going. I had the Blackstone loaded with burgers, and I had the other grill. I've got another full size, like 40-inch grill that was loaded with veggies and stuff. But we had the big fire pit going down by the Christmas tree farm, and we had the small fire pit going up by the house, and it was just super nice. People were going back and forth having a good time. It was really cool. But I have been working on. I'll go into 2 kind of long stories. So this cedar table, I've talked about it before, and I haven't really gone into all the issues I've had with it. I guess I have, but basically it came down to I was trying to use a water-based finish, and the water-based finish wasn't jiving with the high acid level of the sap in the cedar, and it failed on me twice. And then the customer ended up changing it, what they wanted for the table, and I ended up spraying spar urethane on it, and that actually just finished drying 2 days ago, and I think I sprayed that early last week. It was crazy how long it took for that to. Because you know how you get that glossy, like the high sheen parts where it's like not fully dry, that high sheen in spots went away just like the other day. So that was about a week of just dry time. But that ended up looking really great. And I used the Helmsman spar urethane, and man, that stuff sprayed great.
They make great mayo.
It was
Through that.
It was really great. I think it's the same recipe really.
No.
But it sprayed.
That also dries in a week.
It looked really great, but man,
you gave me the greatest idea.
Oh, good.
Oh God, no! TikTok video.
Is this going to be like the butter video? Dan's going to run mayo through his mini mite.
Just your Fuji spraying mayo. But on a sandwich.
Onto a sandwich. Yeah, like onto a sandwich.
Oh no, that's another idea. I like that.
Oh God, what have I done?
Oh, it was going right into Dan's mouth with the mayo, wasn't it? You're going to put a 1.8 tip on that thing and spray mayo right into your mouth, weren't you?
It's going to drill out a hole so it's bigger.
No, I was thinking of finishing a cutting board with mayo.
Mike, back to you before we get canceled.
Anyways, so the finish ended up looking great. I hadn't sprayed a solvent-based finish in a really long time. Man, is that a stark difference from all the water-based stuff I've been spraying. Holy cow, that stuff was strong. My shop smelled like that smell for a good 5 days. But anyway, it ended up working out great. So I have another table I was doing, and I want to open this with have good relationships with your vendors as much as you can have a good relationship with your vendors, because it's really important. So I have been using Target coatings for a lot of projects for the last few months, not few months, but like since the beginning of the year, since I got my Fuji. And so long story short, due to some supply chain constraints, I had bought some finish from them earlier in the year, and they had some raw materials that weren't jiving well, and basically the shelf life on the products were not lasting. I had some product that wasn't lasting more than a few months. I was doing this boomerang table this week. I had laid down some white pigmented lacquer on this table, and the pigmented lacquer laid down beautifully. Like, it looks really good. It's dead. I laid down 3 coats, sanded that back, and then put 2 more coats over that, and it felt like glass. The problem hit when I went to go lay down the lacquer. The lacquer had essentially expired, and it should have a 2-year shelf life, but it ended up only having a few months on it, and that was because of some issues with the raw materials that they were getting. So I reached out to Target Coatings, and the guy over there, I don't know if he wants his name given out or not, but the guy I deal with over there, he's the owner. He's a great guy. He has a lot of pride in his company, and he's got great product. He started working with me right away. They started running tests on the products, and they got to the bottom of it right away. So I went from doing that cedar table that I had nonstop finishing issues on to this other table that I had nonstop finishing issues on. And they were completely separate issues. Neither one of them had to do with each other. Like, one was because of I was using a water-based finish over a cedar that could handle it. And then the other one was because I was using products that had expired essentially, or didn't have a long shelf life. But Target Coatings has taken care of me. It was a huge setback. It was a frustrating thing, but I'm glad we were able to get to the bottom of it, really. because now we know. I was going crazy. I thought it was me. I had cleaned my guns. Well, I tried both my guns. I tried running everything through my guns. I cleaned them with water and soap. I cleaned them with acetone multiple times. I mean, I honestly resprayed this table probably 8 times. And you can do that with water-based finishes because that stuff dries really fast. Like over a 3-day period, I refinished this table multiple times. And, try to have good relationships with your vendors, because you can kind of, like, if I didn't have a good relationship with him, I don't know that he would have worked it out with, well, knowing him, he probably would have worked it out, but I don't know how it would have worked out. But I also wouldn't have had like a personal relationship with him. And I probably would have just gotten mad and been like, I'm not using this product anymore, and walked away. And I think ultimately in the long run, I'm glad I didn't do that, because I do like his products a lot. Like, I really do like Target coatings a lot. They work for my shop really well. So, it's kind of given me like some ground. I was telling Dan and I were talking about this, and I was telling him, like, if I had a problem with one of my products and my customer came to me and I was explaining it to them, if they had just gotten mad at me and walked away, I'd be pretty bummed out. So I'm trying to go at it from that.
Yeah. From one small business to another, it makes perfect sense.
Exactly. Yeah. Like he's a small business. This isn't like I went to Walmart and, the
Target coatings
reader called me a fatty or something like that. Yeah. I didn't go to Target. Yeah. I didn't it wasn't something like that, where like a big conglomeration. I mean, this is a small business, I like to support small business. So, I've got more product coming in, and I'm going to keep using the stuff. So, I'm sure everything will get lined up and fixed on their end, and we'll be good to go. So that was what I've been dealing with this week. I haven't even shared that story on Instagram because honestly, it was very frustrating. I was very mad. I went from one table I was having problems with to another, and it was making me question my ability to do finish work. And I was like, I'm doing this right. I knew I wasn't doing, and it was really making me question myself. And I went through everything I could think of that to try to figure out what was wrong with why this was happening on my end before I reached out to them, because frankly, it was embarrassing to reach out and be like, hey, I got another table. It's jacked up, and it was frustrating. It was a really frustrating weekend for me. I felt like a real failure. So on one hand, it sucked that it happened. It really sucked that it happened. But on the other hand, it kind of felt good that it wasn't my fault. On the other hand, I was like, okay, this is the product's fault. I was able to narrow down. I tried everything I could to see if it was me, everything that I knew, everything in my power to try. And then finding out it was the product was actually kind of a relief. As still frustrating and costly as it was for the job, it was a relief to know that I did know what I was doing, and that sometimes the product fails. So just kind of keep an eye on things like that. So that's what I did. That was one of the things I did this week. The other thing I've got going on is, what's up, Dan?
I was going to say, I was having difficulty too. I forgot all about it. And as is tradition, I'm going to like jump in and be like, hey, by the way,
jump into my stuff.
By the way, I had finishing problems too. We were actually talking back and forth that same day. Forgive me. My voice is still a little scratchy from
hangover.
The rest of hangover. Yeah, I couldn't figure out what the heck was wrong. I was trying to spray that desk base with lacquer and my Fuji sprayer, and it was spitting everywhere. And I had cleaned the gun 3 times at least with lacquer thinner. The first time I cleaned it, I left it in a tub of lacquer thinner overnight so it would soak up and, everything would be kind of dissolved. And that didn't take care of it. So I took it apart again and I scrubbed it with a brass brush. And man, I was fighting with it. Finally, I threw in the towel and I went and bought some rattle can lacquer from Ace Hardware. I was like, I got to get this done. And I was like you, I had to sand off all the lacquer that was there because it was just it was garbage.
Orange peely,
and because of the splatter, you could see like big drops and globs on there. Yeah. It just didn't look good at all. And you don't want to deliver crap.
Did you resolve it?
Yeah, I sanded it all off and I went and bought rattle can.
I mean,
I still don't know
what happened.
No, I haven't revisited. Do you think
your lacquer just went bad?
It may have, or I may have thinned it too much. I can't figure it out. I had my smallest tip on there that I could possibly.
You usually do.
I knew that was coming. I don't have anything smaller than a 1.3 on my Fuji, so I don't know.
That's all I spray with is 1.3 for clears is 1.3.
Yeah, I've never changed it. I have a 1.8 for like paints, but I never use that.
I would never even think to use that one for the paint. I don't know. I just use it for
something thicker, something more viscous. You're going to want a bigger tip.
Yeah, you want the 1.8 for paint. And I use
if I ever have to do paint, I'm just going to buy a different sprayer for that.
Anyway, Yeah, I wanted to commiserate with you. I understand your plight a little bit. It was frustrating.
It's frustrating. Yeah, man, it's frustrating. I bet your lacquer's bad, dude.
Maybe.
I bet
it's been sitting for a while. I haven't finished anything, and it feels like forever. But it hasn't been like 6 months, 8 months.
Yeah, it's. I wonder if you.
I go through lacquer pretty quickly.
I think for me, yeah, you do. I mean, so I think for this, what this has really taught me is I'm really going to start having control pieces before I spray anytime. I'm always going to throw like a scrap panel in there just to spray it real quick and then give it about 20, 30 minutes to see how it's looking and then start the process. Because sanding it back is humiliating.
Yeah, it really is. It's like a punch in the gut. But that's the thing. Like it would start off okay, but as I moved the gun back and forth, like it felt like it would collect inside the tip or something. No jokes. And as it collected in the tip, it felt like it would splatter and, so.
That sucks. That's so frustrating.
Anyway.
The other thing this week, so the power in my shop.
Pete's having a real hard time not saying any jokes.
I will behave.
I mean, I'm trying to move on. As fast as I can.
Please, Mike, move on.
The electrician showed up this week, which was awesome. I'm really excited about that. We got all the conduits done, going up the wall, going down the wall of my house, in the trench, over to the shop. He got the sub panel set in the shop. We're going to run the wire Friday, and we'll probably set the new meter main on Friday as well. He said if he has to come back Saturday, he will. So it will be done this week. That means I can call out for inspections. And then once inspections are done, I can call out for power.
I suspect you're going to throw a huge Mike finally has power party.
Dude, I have like, I've completely accepted that I'm not going to be having like in a holiday Etsy numbers this month, or this year. I'm just kind of, I've got a bunch of corporate customers.
Think of all the next jobs you're going to take on because of that shop.
Well, yeah, I can't take on the Etsy. I have a bunch of corporate customers. I've got a bunch of holiday stuff on order right now already, and I can't even start it. And then we're taking the last week of December off. I'm going to have like 3 weeks of just nuts. It's going to be nuts in there when the power hits. Like I'm going to be probably doing the power with my uncle for the long break for Thanksgiving. My uncle and I will probably be in there getting that. Actually, we might be doing some of that this weekend. But anyway, the point is, I've got like, once the power's up, I'm only have a few weeks to like get a bunch of stuff done. I've got large orders of cutting boards. I've got one that's
we're going to be at the end of December before you know it.
Yeah, it's going to be time for deliver. I mean, I've got one that's 200 cutting boards. I've got another one that's 40, another one that's 20, and another one that's 15 right now, and it hasn't even like gotten to the real crazy time yet.
Damn.
And then I've got my commissions. I've got my commissions right now, and I just had a customer follow up with me who I wasn't going to be starting their table until February. It's just 2 small tables, but he wants to try to do them next month. I'm like, we'll see what happens. So, and then anyway, it's just really busy. I'm just kind of trying to plan out right now. Trying to plan out the next few weeks. I just got to get my power going. It's really frustrating. So, another thing is, what else we got going on? I'm trying to remember what I did this week. That's kind of it. I'm kind of babbling on. I don't want to go too long on my week. I kind of want to pull up Instagram to see what I did this week because I don't really remember, because that's how kind of things go. I got my sander in place. I think I already had that, right. Though. I got my sander in place, and that boomerang table. So the boomerang table, all the problems with the boomerang table, all the finish is going to be, it actually landed at my old house today. So I'm going to go pick that up in the morning, and I'll have that table finished and get that delivered to my customer probably Friday. So that's going to be really nice to get that one out of here too. So those will be 2 good wins. And I started on these, this customer of mine. I have a custom Cepele spa steps I'm building for a lady. That one's going to be a fun, quick build. I'm actually really looking forward to it. It's just going to be fun to knock it out. It's going to be a cool, fun build. And then I'm starting, I've got to go buy the mold, the melamine to build the mold for that big redwood table, because
that's going to take so much epoxy.
Like it's going to just suck. It's going to take so much epoxy. That is now going to become my biggest pour table ever, just because of the cracks inside. Like the surface top isn't going to have nearly as much exposed epoxy as that elm table did, but there's so many horizontal cracks across the middle. It's going to like soak into this thing. It's going to be like 40% epoxy, this table. So it's going to be an interesting one. Not my favorite, but My customer wants it, so that's what they're gonna get. But anyway, that's it for me for my week. And that's it for all of us, I guess, for the week. So let's jump into some voicemails. Our first voicemail is from one Mr. Adam Barnett. Adam, thank you for always calling in, buddy.
Hey guys, Adam here from Barnett Custom Woodworks. So the holiday season is right around the corner, and if anybody else is feeling it like me, Etsy is starting to ramp up already. I'm doing almost what I was doing weekly, daily now, which is pretty awesome. But it got me thinking about, okay, this season is going to get slammed. Am I efficient? Do I have everything I need for shipping now? Am I going to run out of anything and not be able to ship orders? So I started stocking up on stuff, but I was wondering if you guys could share some tips and tricks that you guys do. I know you guys are doing a lot more volume than I am. Do you have a shipping station? You know, is there certain things? I know you have like label printers and this and that. Like, share some of those tips and tricks with us so that we can all get on that level. Thanks, guys. Love you long time. Bye.
Pete.
So I'll start with the last thing you mentioned, which is a label printer. I, for many years, was running on a Dymo label printer, which if you're watching the video, I don't know if you can see, I have one of these. It's a 450 turbo. That's what it's called. It prints 2x7 inch labels, or 2.5 by 7 inch labels. You can get through like sites like, I know Pirate Ship does it. I think Shipner does it as well. You can print longer labels, but you can't print international labels. So my recommendation is get a label printer of some kind for your shipping labels. If you're making good sales, or use this holiday as an excuse, like use some of that money you're bringing in to buy yourself a proper label, because being able to just ship all your labels to one printer, no matter if it's international or local or whatever, it's such a time saver. It really saves you so much time, and I highly recommend it. It's worth the $130, $110, $150, depending on which model you go with. And the labels that they come with will hopefully last you the season. Hopefully not, actually. Hopefully they won't last you a month and you're selling a lot. Aside from that, get some boxes. I was for years sending stuff out with whatever boxes I had laying around. Whatever, I'd cut them up and cut them down to size, take off any other labels that were on there. Buy some boxes. Make it look somewhat professional. And, you don't have to, but I think it looks really nice if you can get some boxes that are done nice. Slap a small sticker or label. Like, I use my thermal label printer as well, this Dymo, and I got 1 inch by 3 inch stickers that just say, it's got my logo and it says, "Thank you for your order." And it just like, it says your order is here on these new ones. So I just slap it on every single box that goes out. It's just a little bit of extra flair. And the last tip I'll have is, if you're making any handmade items, like for example, cutting boards obviously are big sellers. Buy some boxes that might be slightly oblong size, that might be like 5 by 10 inches or whatever, that would fit a small cutting board, and make the boards or make the item to fit the boxes that you can get very well and cheaply. Because then, instead of making an item and then having to buy boxes that fit that item, do it the other way around. I bought a bunch of really cheap boxes, like stupid cheap, where they were like 60 cents, 70 cents. They were like 20 cents a pop compared to the other ones for around the same size, because they were an oblong size and they fit some of the longer boards, narrower but longer boards, perfectly. And people love them. And it looks hella professional when you sell them. So that's my 3 tips. Dan, what about you? You
nailed it with that last one, buddy. Make your products fit the boxes that you have. That is awesome. I used to just make stuff willy-nilly and, just be like, well, this looks good. But then you're stuck like, oh gosh, now I got to put it in a box and I don't have this awkward box. So yeah, if you make your items fit the boxes that you have. So like I buy, I think it's 13 by 18 boxes that are 3 inches tall. All my cutting boards from here on out fit those boxes.
And where do you get those boxes?
I get those on Amazon,
from Uline
actually.
And Staples. Where do you get them from Amazon?
Yeah, I found them cheaper on Amazon. I like a pack of 50 for like $35 or something like that.
That's not bad.
And yeah, so my bow ties, I make sure they all fit in a 6x9 bubble container wrapper thing, bubble envelope. Yeah. So yeah, bubble mailer. There it is.
Mailer.
Mailed it.
Mailer,
label printer. Yes, label printers are key. For a long time, I was just doing printing labels on a just a regular piece of paper, cutting it out, taping it to the package. After a while, that becomes a huge time waster. Mike recommended I buy this one. He sent me a link to this. It was on sale. Saves me a ton of time and headaches. Now that Pete has figured out how to make it print correctly,
we had a fun IT hour.
And it's a thermal printer, so you never have to worry about it running out of ink.
Oh, and if I could add one little thing real quick. Someone recently shared this with me, and it's brilliant. You can get color label printers for your thermal label printer. I'm sorry, color labels for your thermal label printer. So their color, they'll print in black and white because it's thermal, but the label itself's got some extra flair, and you can get them pennies on a dollar compared to getting like labels or stickers made at a company. Like we use StickerBeat. I think we all use StickerBeat. They're great. They have great prices, but you can do it even cheaper with a thermal printer. So just a little tip there.
But they don't have that nice peel here and
well, you're sticking it on there though. No, because it comes on a sheet and it's.
I'm trying to talk well about StickerBeat.
I thought it was a great point, Dan.
Jeez, Mike, you go.
They're for on top of the boxes. Okay.
No,
tell us your tips and tricks.
I'm not going to parrot back any of the other things. There's a reason my templates, when I used to sell templates when I had a shop with power, there's a reason my templates are only 19 inches long, unless you order a custom one, then the price changes. Because I order 20-inch long boxes for them, like the guy said. Order boxes for the product you sell. It looks like you are running an adult company. It doesn't look like some dude, which that is what it is when you're just cutting up boxes and slapping them together and mailing out stuff. I did it.
Although there's something to say for reduce, reuse, recycle. I mean,
if you get boxes that fit exactly what you're using.
Yeah, I understand.
Definitely if you've got a bunch of boxes laying around, don't just try not to toss them out. Use them for like extra packaging. You can use them. You can cut them up and use them as like padding for your other boxes. That's one option. But I won't parrot back that stuff. Have a shipping area. That's what I'm working on now. I wish I had the setup Pete has.
I got a whole shipping area.
The lever system Pete has is just bonkers. I want that system so bad. But I've got all my shipping stuff. Everything is set up in our garage over here, which is separate from my shop. Ultimately, I'd like it in the shop, but right now I can't have all that stuff in there because I have lots of different size boxes that I keep in stock. I get mine from Uline and from Amazon. Uline has the best boxes. Sometimes I can get a better price from Amazon for boxes. I have had the most fail rate on boxes from Amazon compared to Uline, but if you can find a boxes that for cheaper on Amazon, it's usually worth it. I haven't had I bought cup boxes for my tumblers that I do the engravings on, and the ones from Uline are the same size and they just feel a lot better. The ones from Amazon, they feel kind of cheap, but for the most part, I have had really good experiences with the Amazon boxes that I've gotten. So that was one of the worst experiences I had, but I can't even really use them. But the Uline stuff is really good, and the Amazon boxes are typically really good as well. Also, what's the matter, Dan?
Max.
Oh, did he drop?
Yeah, he dropped. Hey,
dropping bombs.
Get out of here.
Go. He carpet bombed you. Get out of here. No. But yeah, have that dedicated shipping area, because when it's Etsy time, I mean, typically these things are not so big that you can't just load them up in your arms and take them to your shipping center or your shipping area and then do it all in one shot. I find that I like to build all my stuff. And whenever it's busy Etsy time, I build all my stuff. And at the end of the night, I take it all to my shipping area and I package it all up. And then I get the labels on there. And it's a fun process. I actually enjoy that process. So have that shipping area, have the right size boxes. And I'm totally stealing the thing Pete does with the little note on the box, like your orders here. I bought 1x3 labels, my label printer that I have, which Pete and I actually have the same one. And I'm pretty sure I looked at Dan's, and Dan's will do the same thing. You can run like 7 or 8 different size labels through it, and it will print them. And mine, I know auto detects. I actually just ran a print. Mine just has my logo on there and it says, "Thank you for your order." But that adds a lot. Like that's something I noticed early on when Pete would send me packages from his store. You know, it looks really professional. It's really good. Like it looks good. It's a nice little thing. Like, oh, here's a brown box. It says it's from Petrie's Workshop or Coffee Custom Builds or Daniel, whatever. But when
and
it
that's
has
the
like
other
that
thing. I use
there's another sticker
boxes. That's
yeah,
on purpose.
Pete does that.
Yeah.
I actually prefer the craft boxes for stuff. I that's the thing I like, but I understand Pete's reasoning for that is understood. It sets it apart. It does look really nice. I found those boxes to usually be a little bit more expensive.
They're pricier.
And I actually personally prefer for my brand the craft boxes. So do the thing that what I'm saying is Pete does that, but he does it every time. It's consistent. So Pete has it's like always white boxes from Pete. It always looks like, oh, I see a white box. I have that little label on there. I know that's Pete's box coming to my house because he does a good job with consistent branding on that. So find out something, keep it consistent, maybe throw a little label or a card in there or something. I always throw a sticker in there, just little things like that. But the efficiency stuff, you're just going to have to hit your groove on that.
As far as the boxes go, first impressions matter.
It does. It really does. And when you open it up and there's not like an old t-shirt in there, like for the packaging, it's like nice packaging.
Old underwear.
I don't
whites
like plastic. Yeah. I don't really like plastic packaging myself. I just don't like it. I use all craft paper packaging I have like a craft paper crumpler. I bought one of those on Uline. I just don't like plastic. I'm not like tree hugger type, but I don't like to see waste. Like I don't like plastic. I don't like to see the plastic trash waste.
He owns a Christmas tree plantation. So, he cares about
Christmas tree plantation. I do. I care about that stuff. I'm mindful of it. Like I really don't like to use any plastic in any of my packaging. I actually just recently bought craft box tape that you have to physically wet. So I'm looking for a wetting machine for that. So it's like really heavy duty. Yeah, you don't have. I'm not going to run it over my tongue. Everyone's going to get a little coffee on it. No,
every order comes with a little coffee.
Dan can fly out and take some photos if you want. If you need a wedding photographer,
photographer.
That was a stretch.
Nice. That was good. That was like your rap joke earlier. No, I can't remember what it was. Def Jam Records or something. No, so I really like keeping it the craft color, the craft brown color, and I like it not having plastic involved. That's
whatever it is, consistent
in my shipping.
Do consistency,
but just be consistent. Yeah, that's all that matters.
I have friends that do just biodegradable everything. And they pay extra for it. That's their thing. They refuse to yield. Like that's what they do, but just be consistent. It's great.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
This next question's from Jake Miller.
Hey guys, it's Jake from A Sweet Shop and A Sweet Idea on Instagram, and just wanted to call in with a question about shop relocations. So the cat's out of the bag. We are moving to Florida. I'm gonna have a much larger shop that's gonna be way better suited for long term for the business, which is gonna be awesome. However, when we're moving 350 miles, we're more or less kind of starting over and starting from scratch. So kind of knowing what you guys know now as far as how you operate your business and everything, what would you guys do to get up and running and get a client base that's relatively local in a complete new area as far as starting over. So be interested to hear what you guys have to say, and thanks for a great show as always, guys.
Dan, I'm going to throw it to you first, of course.
Oh, great.
No.
So I don't know. I'll go. I got a few nuggets of information. First of all, I haven't switched shops yet. I'm currently looking for a new shop. I feel like everybody's attacking me and rubbing it in my face. And I kind of hate everybody. However,
this is Dan's reaction to everything.
If I were moving shops and it was going to be across country or something like that, totally out of the market that I'm in into a new market, If I had a website, I would be changing the keywords on my website right now to get that SEO, search engine optimization. Change all your keywords, change your location. Start there at least. That's all I got. Because otherwise I wouldn't know. I haven't moved shops. And it doesn't look like I'm ever going to. I'm going to be here for the rest of my life. It's going to be awesome. Mike, you want to go?
It's going to be awesome. I don't really, I mean, it varies widely for everyone's situation there, Jake. I mean, I'm not moving as far, or I didn't move as far as you're about to move. That would really suck. I also have more tools to move than you did. So, yeah, I don't know, man.
Come on, some advice.
I'm still
what are the growing pains that you keep complaining to us about? Go.
The problem is I'm still recovering. Like I'm still not even done with the move, and I feel ineffective. And it's been a month to a month, and I don't even know how long it's been now. I feel like every day I wake up and I walk out to my shop and I just look at things and I get frustrated because I have all these really great tools and I can't use any of them. It's just very frustrating. So try to keep yourself in a good mental state during it, because it's really stressful and it's going to be really hard on you. And just shut your business down and don't try to hobble through stuff too much. Like really focus on getting it done. I've had like multiple people say to me, enjoy the journey. And like, I want to like strangle them. Like, this isn't enjoyable for me. Like not being able to use my shop sucks. Like there's nothing enjoyable about this right now. I really want to work really bad. And I'm always worried about, my biggest concern is losing the momentum. I'm really worried about losing the momentum. And I haven't really seen signs of that. That's just more of like fears in the back of my head, coming up. But I just want to get back to work really bad. And what really sucks is the things are out of my control. So the one thing I am doing is when I have a day where I'm like, okay, I know for a fact I can't get a lot done today, I'll focus on something else. I think that's my best advice. Focus on something else that will help your business. So if you're not able to actually have your tools up and running for whatever reason, work on your website, work on your Etsy store, work on your branding, work on something, network. Like,
start reaching out to local makers.
My business. Yeah, find local makers, but find all your suppliers. Learn who the managers are at these places. Get to know their name. A lot of my business comes from people who buy from different places, and those businesses recommend me to build their furniture for them. That happens a lot for me. So go network, go get to know people, go find it. I think I've heard Jake say that like there's not really much in terms of wood supply around there. I feel like that's not accurate. I think that people don't quite understand. I mean, you might not have like a Rockler or a Woodcraft near there, but there's going to be a hardwood supplier, and there's going to be a slab yard, and there's going to be
a guy with a bandsaw.
Some millers out there. Yeah, so there's going to be some Sawyers out there. You're going to find stuff more than you think. Like I grew up in this area. I had no idea how many Sawyers there are in the area and how many live edge or reclaimed slab yards there were. Now that's, a lot more prominent now than it was 10, 15 years ago, but they're everywhere out here. And I know Florida doesn't have quite as many trees, but I know they have some interesting species. Just be prepared that you're going to have to focus on some different stuff than what you're used to. Just be prepared for that, because it's going to be tough. Pete.
So Mike hit on ahead with I'll start in a backwards order. So as far as moving into a new area, Mike's right about all that. Reach out. I did something. This is unintentional. I just happened to need to get a quote on something and was just calling up every plywood supplier in the area. And then I was grilling them on like, hey, what else do you guys stock? And what about this? What about hardwoods? Is it S4S? Is it FAS? So like what, like, you start talking to them, and somebody's got, or go in person if you can, just start forming a relationship and, give them your name, talk to them a little bit, make a relationship, ask to get a tour of the yard if it's not one that you could just walk around and pick material. I actually ended up forming some really good relationships with 2 yards around here. Now they're not the most well stocked, but I know what they have now. And I know someone I could call someone and be like, hey, Dan at this one yard, like I'm looking for this, like, can you help me out? I was there last week. Remember we talked. So start that relationship. The other thing is your neighborhood, dude, wherever you're moving, just make it really obvious that you're doing stuff Like, I think that, I was meeting people in my neighborhood, and it's basically one big loop. And, when I would start talking to people, I'd be like, hey, and if you ever need any help with, like, I do woodworking. So if you guys need any help with your furniture or whatever, or like if you need something made, let me know. Or I actually mentioned fabrications, like small scale fabrication. I'm like, I got a CNC and a laser engraver and a 3D printer if you need help. Like, just kind of work it into the conversation, because you never know when someone's gonna be like, well, really? Oh, and then, or they'll mention a conversation and someone else will reach out to you. So that's that. The other thing is, if you're doing posts on Instagram, or Facebook or whatever, a lot of us tag locations. We made the conscious choice to not just post exactly where we live, but the area we're in. So, post the county, or tag the county, tag a nearby town or whatever, or tag the state, so people can still find you by location, but not necessarily like, I live in this town, or whatever, if that's something you want to kind of keep off the maps. That's that tip. Anyway, wait, what was his first question? I remember the location one, but forgot the first part.
I don't know.
Moving tips. Moving tips. So this is something that Mike was getting pissed off about, and I was throwing stuff in my shop. And I'm not an angry person, but I was literally throwing things in my shop. You're not going to be the only person moving your shop. People are going to help you. You know what the worst thing about people is? They're not you. They're going to put boxes under boxes and in corners and in random spots. And you're going to be losing your mind because you can't find the one tool. Mike, what's up? You're waving your arm.
I was going to say, well, so I was talking about the target coating thing. Something I didn't bring up that needs to be brought up is,
oh yes,
I had a bad gallon of urethane come months ago. And that was something, it was a test thing that somehow got shipped out. That shouldn't have happened on their end, but it did. It came to me. We got to the bottom of that like 6-7 months ago. That gallon of bad urethane, I actually had set aside to take to the hazardous material place, because you have to take everything. I'm in California. You have to go to the facility where you take hazardous material. You have to sign a form, and you can do up to 15 gallons. So I do it all at once. I save all my hazardous material. Anyway, part of the reason why I had problems with that table, that boomerang, and the cedar table, was because that bad urethane got put into my good products by the people who were all my friends who were helping me move. They didn't know. It said bad on it. I wrote bad on there, but they were just trying to help me. They were putting all their finishes together. And then the other thing is, I'm missing like at least a box of stuff. I can't find my nice pair of Mitutoyo calipers, my crappy pair of Amazon calipers, and a bunch of other stuff that I use for the CNC. You're going to lose some stuff. So hopefully it's just small stuff, but Pete, that's what Pete was saying, but things are going to get messed up.
Yeah.
And just accept it now.
And that's a great point. Like, is the people just putting stuff, and like, you might be like setting something aside for literally legal reasons in California. He has to set it aside, and like it got mixed in with stuff. But I tagged everything, every box with workshop or garage or whatever, if it's Petrie's workshop and all this stuff, or the print room or all that. I wasn't specific with every box as to what was inside. Stuff that I was packing inside the house, because I had my label printer there, and I was just like printing them out on a Dymo. I was like, yeah, this has a printer and cables and speaker and whatever. Like, I was putting that in. For the shop, I didn't do that. Do that. First of all, pack your, I need to open this box first, boxes last, and label them. Put in what's in there. Calipers, table saw things, measuring tools, screwdrivers. Be as specific as you can on the boxes, because trust me, that week or 2 or 3 or month or whatever, until you open up that box, you're going to be opening up boxes looking for one little thing, and it's going to drive you absolutely insane, and it's going to lose you hours. So label as much as you can on every box. Write things. You don't have to write everything, but if it's like the controller for your CNCs in this box with other electronics, write CNC controller on a box so you can see it. So that's my biggest tip, is just label as much as you can. Over label everything. Dan?
I did want to add something. We touched on this a couple weeks ago when somebody called in with a very similar question, and we kind of debated it. We did like a roundtable on how effective or how useful it would be to look into the cost of moving all your tools versus the cost of selling your tools and buying
buying new tools.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
the
For that
cost
kind of
of
distance,
moving
for
the
sure.
cost of moving tools that distance might supersede or might go over what it would take to sell those tools and buy new.
Buy new ones. Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
Look into it at least.
Sure. Well, we're gonna take a break from the voicemails because we have huge news.
Huge.
This is huge. Yeah.
Huge.
Well,
The biggest news we've had in months.
In this
Tens
the
of
biggest news
news
we've had all episode. Look, we used to do a giveaway here, and it was sponsored by Macbeth. And the good news is we do again. Macbeth is partnered with the podcast again, and right now it is a monthly giveaway. So we're going to be doing a giveaway again with Macbeth, which is very exciting. We're really glad to have those folks back over here. That was a long-term and important relationship to us, and we're really glad to be working with them again. So
much excited.
This first giveaway in the renewed sponsorship with Macbeth, Dan's going to talk about it right now. Dan.
Absolutely. Like Mike said, this is going to be a monthly giveaway, and we're going to try to do this giveaway during the first episode of every month. And this would be the first episode of November, so we're starting out hot. And they want to give away. So Macbeth has their own branded sandpaper now. Ooh. So they want to give away your choice, 6-inch or 5-inch disc 50-pack, and some CA glue. I think they have their own branded CA glue as well. Unless I read that email wrong.
No, that is correct.
So yeah, you're gonna get your choice, sandpaper and some CA glue, and we're doing the catchphrase thing again, boys and girls. And this catchphrase comes from the pre-show. So if you weren't in the pre-show, we had a lot of debate. If you're in the pre-show, first of all, if you're in the pre-show, you get an extra entry into the the monthly giveaway. You get an extra entry into the giveaway. So if you weren't in there, you missed that code phrase. But there was another one that was in contention for being a code phrase for the pre-show, but I wanted to save it for the actual show, and that is liberal Twix. If you don't know what I'm talking about, watch the pre-show on YouTube whenever that gets posted. So you need to send
Twix, yep.
the code phrase liberal Twix to our email at awpgiveaway@gmail.com. Pete will probably put that email in the notes in case I wasn't very clear when I said it.
Fine.
I bet you he does.
And
that's
next week during the pre-show, we will pick the winner randomly. So join us in the pre-show on the YouTubes.
Join us in the pre-show. Boom, boom, boom.
Also, Mike,
on with the show.
I thought you were saying you had an intro for it. You can work that in later?
I did. I actually forgot to write down when we started talking about that for my timestamp, but I'll find it. It's okay.
Yep.
Because Dan doesn't talk a ton. So when I start seeing Dan's bar coming up, it's I can't tell you. You're gonna have to listen to the episode.
Oh goodness.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
You're gonna have to listen. All right. So let's jump into the last two questions here. We're going to move into these. This next question is from Andrew Smith. Goes by Crash on his email.
Hey, guys. Andrew from Smith Builds on Instagram. I have a question about dust collection. Seems like that always is part of my concern these days, particularly with a small shop. So I have this Penn State Industries PSI, Pete knows, dust collector that's really powerful, 2.5 horsepower, drives a lot of air, but the intake on it is a 6-inch intake, and it comes in the kit with a split to 2 4-inch intakes. Here's my question. I want to wall mount the actual dust collection unit and then direct it into a dust separator like a thine baffle. And then I want to pipe it to a dust selector system like Jonathan Katzmos recently posted to YouTube. Wondering if you have a thought as to a reduction from a 6-inch to a 4-inch, like immediately into that selector, so that I can determine which tool it will direct the suction from for the dust collection, or if it would be better to leave it as 6-inch as long as I can in the run before I move it to, or I transition the dust collection to a tube to 4-inch for the tools. This would affect a table saw and a planer and possibly a bandsaw and maybe a couple of other larger tools, but the smaller tools would likely have 2.5s to well, I guess 1.25, whatever it is, that would be equivalent to a shop vac. Curious on your thoughts on how that might affect dust collection or efficiency of dust collection, and whether or not I should try and maintain that 6-inch run as long as possible to include or to increase CFMs. Love the show, guys. Thanks.
I'm going to go real quick.
Please.
I saw the thine, and I opened up my eyes. I saw the thine.
Oh, did he say thine? I wrote down spline baffle? Question mark.
Thine baffle. No. To quickly answer your question, you definitely want to have your 6-inch size go as long as you possibly can before you throttle that. The sooner you throttle that, the more CFMs you're going to lose. Hey-oh, don't throttle that 6-inch. So you're gonna want to get that thing.
Show title.
You're gonna want throttle the 6-inch. All right. Let me just write this down.
No, don't throttle the 6-inch. Come on, Mike.
Okay.
Don't throttle that 6-inch, boy.
So I saw what he's talking about. Jonathan Katz-Moses's. I didn't watch the video, but I saw that thumbnail, and it was basically a slider to choose which it's basically a big blast gate, right? And instead of closing the gate, you're moving one side of the hose to go to another hose. Anyways, what it is. I'm sure that thing's really cool. I just can't imagine it's very efficient. I can't imagine that thing's sealed up very well and it actually works. I didn't watch the video. Jonathan Katz-Moses is very thorough, so it might work very well. But if you have a 6-inch port and you immediately drop that thing down to a 4-inch, or even if you did the 6-inch all the way to that thine baffle and then dropped it to where it connects to the 4-inch, you're going to see loss. But the bottom line is, as long as you're getting the dust collection that you want to see at the tool, it doesn't matter what that loss equates to. Like, we always want to optimize and maximize our suction for our dust collection. But as long as you're not getting buildup of chips in that machine, it doesn't ultimately really matter. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. If your machine has enough power to be reduced down from a 6-inch to a 4-inch and still do the job that it needs, that's great. If you have a bunch of 4-inch tools, you probably don't have machines that are really putting out tons of output for chips anyway. I mean, if you got 4-inch tool ports, they're probably not making that many chips. They're just not. I mean, you start to get in the 5 and 6-inch and 8-inch ports on tools. Those are the tools that you need to really worry about big CFM numbers for. So, and then the other thing was, don't use a dust collector on shop vac ports. They aren't made the same. They're not made to do that. If you have a tool that has a shop vac port on it, you need to use a shop vac. That's like the 1.5 to 2-inch size holes. Those have they operate in a different way. A dust collector is just a blower. It's blowing wind. It can move massive amounts of wind. But it doesn't have the same kind of suction. And I always forget what that is called. I always want to say it's gravity, but it's not gravity.
Suction velocity, Raptor.
But it is different. It's moving.
It's totally different
versus CFM, which that's also about.
Yeah, it's like if you anyway, the bottom line is, like, if you put a ball at the end of it, like that weighed 10 pounds over a 4-inch one, it would probably fall off the dust collector. But anyway, don't use the 4-inch port, the 4-inch plus port machines for the shop vac ones. Dan's mad, so I want to hear what Dan has to say.
I'm not a thermodynamic engineer about thine baffles, nor do I even know what a thine baffle is. So I'm sure whatever Mike said is great.
I'm baffled as to what it is.
I'm pretty baffled as to what's even going on here.
I'm thined even.
I'm going to pass it to Pete.
Fine. Pete, back to you.
So I have the same dust collector. Yes, I'm going to parrot this part. Run
Penn
the 6-inch.
State.
Penn is state. Yep. Penn 5.
Penn is state. Penn is state industries.
It's a weirdly good dust collector for the price and the no-name brand, which used to be.
Does that come from Harbor Freight?
No, it was like a solid brand. They're still around. They just do like industrial stuff. So it was them trying to get into like garage level whatevers. But that thing works remarkably well for how cheap it is. Like way better than I had a Delta one for a while, and this has better CFMs than that does. Anyways, run to 6 inches long as you can, long as possible. If you're trying to build something like what Jonathan Katz-Moses built, run to 6 inch right into it and then use that as a splitter. However, that being said, I don't recommend that because there's going to be times that you want to run 2 ports at the same time or 2 tools, and you can't do that with his system. It's just all coming out of that one. So you got to figure out which one's going to be open, which I think is a kind of a big drawback. What I would say is maybe divide your shop into 2 sections. And if you want to make that baffle, whatever they call something baffle, make 2 of those. Thine baffle. But honestly, I'm a big fan of run to 6 inches as long as you can, and then set up blast gates as close to the tools as possible. You want to make sure you're getting good runs and good suction. Don't cut back on it. That being said, I have the same dust collector right now, and one is hard plumbed just temporarily until I get my next dust collector. It's hard plumbed into my my table saw with a blast gate on it. And then the other one is running on a blue dust right hose that I got from Rockler. And that's how I'm running a lot of that stuff. I will be replacing that because it doesn't do a good job. A lot of these tools, it's fine, but some of them, like my joiner, my planer, and my table saw, that thing barely keeps up. It does, but it also fills up super fast. So run hard pipe as big a size as possible, as long as you can. And it's a great one, but maybe honestly, depending on the size of your shop, look into another one for the other side of the shop. I've considered that too. Even one of those wall hanging ones, just to not do as long of a run, because as nice as that thing is, it's not that powerful. You're leaving a lot of suction on the table. Right, Dan?
Yeah.
I do want to say something though, real quick.
Yeah.
So my opinion of this is from a shop where like, this is my job. Mm-hmm. So Andrew, if this is like more of a hobby, that thine baffle thing is super cool. And if it will work for your shop, I think you should totally do it because it's cool, man. Like it looks cool. It's a neat project. You're going to have fun building it. And if you're not like trying to like run your shop to like pay the bills or, even if just like have fun money and stuff, like if you're not like really trying to like push every ounce of productivity out of your tools, that thing's not going to do it, but it is a cool thing to build. And I think you'll have fun building it. And it's a really cool way to switch your tool suction around. So have fun building it if that's what you want to do.
Yeah. Good point, Michael.
And then this next question is from Nick Pachi. We haven't heard from Nick in a while. We were certain he was dead.
Hey guys, Nick with the Working Grain. It's been a really long time since I've called in. Yes, it has. But I'm back, and a lot has changed since the last time I called in. My wife and I recently purchased a new home, and with it comes a brand spanking new shop. It's a lot more space than I'm used to, but it's not an infinite amount of space. So I'm curious as to what your guys' best space-saving trick is in the shop. Thanks, guys.
Dan, what's your best space-saving trick?
Everything on wheels. Everything on flip-top carts if you can. I think flip-top carts are probably the best space-saving trick of all time.
Yep.
I mean, one space for 2 tools. I mean, that's brilliant. I say that not having any flip-top carts, I should probably build some. That's probably a really great space-saving trip. Trick.
It's a trick. Turning tricks.
Trunk or treat. Yeah, wheels on everything. That way you could just kind of push it wherever you need. That's all I got, Nick. I'm sorry. Pete, you were in a small shop once.
Yes, I was. So 2 tips that I'll have is, well, Dan stole one of them. So 3 tips. The flip top carts are great. Anytime you can double up on space, it's great. And anytime you can't, if the tool's on a bench or a cart or something, everything below it is storage. Don't just have a framed out 2x4 base on it. No, it's storage. It's shelves, it's drawers, whatever.
Yes.
Put something there, dedicate it. But the two real tips are horizontal storage. Fill up every inch of my shop was filled on the walls at my old place because that was the only real storage I had. So utilize any storage you have vertically, or if you have a shed of some kind or another space that you can put, let's say just lumber or sheet goods, do that. But go vertical, use the ceiling, all that stuff. But the real big tip is use the garage door. It's a fourth wall of your shop. I know it opens up. As long as your car doesn't go into the shop, all you need is about a 4-foot walking space. Just use that as a wall. Put tools up against it. I have a bunch of tools up against my garage doors. I did at the old place. That's actually how I stored all my plywood sheet goods. I would open up the garage door, lean them up against all the big heavy standing tools like a bandsaw, drill press, and a lathe. And they just sat there, and that was great plywood storage. And it utilized that fourth wall, and it gave me an extra wall of tools. So utilize that. Mike?
Yeah, just build as many shelves. Take advantage of every vertical surface you can on your walls and put cabinets up or fixtures up to hold things. Don't really have much. I mean, keep things mobile, I suppose. I like having things be mobile, but I also don't like having to utilize the mobility of tools because I just really like to have things I don't like spending the time pulling a tool out to use it. Like, obviously,
Yeah, I get that.
Dream scenario is not to have to move any tool. They all have all the space they need to be able to operate them. So if you have a tight space, you're gonna have to utilize wheels and casters and stuff. So try to make your space so you can minimize the amount of times you have to move tools to use them, because that's just lost productivity. But again, if you're not, running a business, who cares? Just get out there to have fun and chill out. I mean, you're not thinking about it the same way. You're thinking about it like, I'm going to go out here. If this takes 35, 40 minutes to play in a few boards, who cares? It's just me having a fun time out here. So just go enjoy it. So if you're running a business, you want to start thinking about those things. But yeah, I mean, find as many things as you can. I just ordered these silicone holders for my saw blades to hang on the side of my table saw. They're like to hold the 10-inch blades. I think it was James Wesley Furniture who showed them. And I was like, why don't I have those? I got my blades laying around all over the place. Or, I think Pete,
carbide on carbide
drawer. Yeah, you got carbide hitting carbide. I think Pete, you have the drawer where you pull it out. It's got the dowel. Dan,
both the little
where you have the blades sitting there.
I
need to make something like that too. Like
put spacers between them, because carbide on carbide you could damage it.
Yeah, but the point is like utilize the negative space in your shops. Like if you got a big jointer, like I got my big jointer, I got these big wings underneath there with tons of open space. I have cabinets that fit under there, and I just throw tons of crap in those cabinets. I've got dado stacks, I've got templates, I got all kinds of stuff just thrown in there, and it's not all over my horizontal surfaces, which we all love horizontal surfaces for working on. So it sucks when you got a pile of tools on top of your workbench or your outfeed or whatever. It's just a mess. So,
and I think this is really important for like 90% of our listeners, or 80%, like a pretty high number of this is a garage for them, which means there's not just tools, but there's toys, there's bikes, there's household items, whatever. Get like a husky rack. Honestly, I know this is a pricey option, and like I have the lev rack system. I work with them now, and it's fantastic. Like it's honestly such a space saver. But get a husky rack, get some proper shelving for that garage so you can utilize every inch of that space. Especially put all the household items in there so you don't have to deal with them being out in the open.
I mean, guys in like a garage shop aren't going to buy a lev rack system. But,
no.
I mean, those are like $7,000, but those are like
less,
any sort of rack is like
get racking.
Helpful. Get a nice set of rack.
Well, because racks are way cheaper than like shelves or like cabinets.
I like the point of use your negative space. Build cabinets to go under your jointer or your table saw wing. Or, don't leave any spaces underneath the something open. Utilize it. And then,
you can
build
really
something for it. And then
it's crazy.
Create content.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yep.
Use your ceiling if it's low. Hang stuff off of it.
Yeah. Yep. Use every space
I've done
you
that
can.
too.
You just got to really take advantage of it. I guess that's it for questions. I don't guess. That is it for questions. Thanks everyone for writing in. What, Pete?
No, it's just something. You taking the guesswork out of it. I just.
Oh, back to you. No, that was good. No, thanks everyone for writing in. We are, we recorded early this week because I got family coming in. We're coming into the holiday season. I think we're probably going to have a few schedule changes over the next few weeks. Yep. I would imagine we're all going to have family things Christmas. Going on. I think we kind of discussed it. We'll just talk about it. I mean, we haven't talked about me, Dan and Pete haven't talked about it 100%, but I think we kind of decided that we're going to skip the last week of the year for the show.
There'll be 1 week skipped in around the holidays.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be gone in Montana. I really need a vacation. I'm starting to really feel it. I think once the shop gets running and I have like 3 weeks behind me in the shop, I'm going to need that week off pretty bad from everything. I just need to disconnect really bad.
We might do some Instagram lives to supplement it or something.
No, we will for sure. We'll miss you. I mean, I know that I know for a fact for Dan and Pete and myself, this is really like part of our week now.
Yeah.
And it's really cathartic for us. So like we might not do a show. Maybe we'll do something. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But just know over the next few weeks, the schedule is going to kind of bounce around a bit. Like we're all going to
be loosey-goosey.
We're all going to be, it's going to be loosey-goosey. But, next week will be Thursday. We got Graz. Well, I got to confirm that. But we got Graz coming on the show with Graz Makes. He works over at Total Boat. I believe he's still with Carolina as well. I'm not 100% on it. But he's over at Total Boat for sure. We'll find that out next week. So it'll be good to talk to him. So big thanks to every one of you guys. Also, thanks to Macbeth for coming back for the giveaway. Guys,
very exciting.
Really help us out if you shared in your stories how excited you are that Macbeth is back on the giveaway train with the AWP. So that really help us out. They really would like to see how the response is. And if we can get them a good enough response, I think we're going to get more than once a month for the giveaways. So let's see what we can do there.
Yep.
And then keep sharing the show. Go check us all out on social media. Check out the Etsy stores. The boys at Etsy stores are up. Go give them some love, buy some stuff from them. And I think that's kind of it. Let's get out of this thing. You guys have a good night. Talk to you later. Bye.
Love you long time.
Love you long time. Bye.
Bye. Kill it.